Hello and welcome to one of my beer reviews. Okay, I'm going to be reviewing a beer this evening which has caused quite a stir, shall we say. It came out last week and I don't think I know of another beer that has caused this much hype and fuss. I really don't think I can think of one. It's this stuff. It's the collaboration between Goose Island and Cadburys. It's the Goo-Beer-Lee, beer, celebrating 50 years of Cadbury's Creme Eggs. Now, this got released last week on Wednesday at 11 o'clock in the morning, and after 30 seconds, 500 sales of the beer were made. And they basically bought them as a pack of two. So 1,000 cans were sold in 30 seconds. It just absolutely flew out. People have been going absolutely bonkers about this beer, and quite a few have been exchanging hands for silly amounts of money. I managed to get in within those 30 seconds and managed to get a couple of cans. And the second can I actually auctioned off the other day and raised £50 for a cancer charity, which is very close to my heart. So I thought I don't need both cans. I only need one because I just want to review it and see if it's any good. Now, yeah, this is, as I said, Goose Island. They're a brewery. They're American. They're from Chicago. They've been going since 1988, and you're probably familiar with them. Their beers are quite commonplace. Goose Island IPA. It's everywhere. I mean, Waitrose, you can get it. It's in M&S. It's in Tesco's. It's absolutely everywhere. And generally speaking, it's not a very good beer. It's a bit bland and boring, really. And Goose Island, as I said, been going since '88, and in 2011 they were bought out by AB InBev. Now, where do I start with AB InBev? They are the largest drinks company on the planet. They're based in Leuven in Belgium, but they've got headquarters all over the world. They're based in Johannesburg and London, Sao Paulo, Mexico City, New York. They're absolutely everywhere. And they own 630 brands in 150 countries, many of them being breweries. It's just mind-boggling how big a company are they. They are colossal. They're so big. And yeah, as I said, they got bought out 10 years ago by AB InBev, Goose Island. And the problem is when big business and big companies get involved in breweries, it generally doesn't end well. The thing is, big business, they're not really interested in the quality of the product. They're more interested in this and the old profit margin. And I don't know for certain, but I dare say in 2011 when Goose Island was bought out, somebody from AB InBev probably went to the brewery, looked at the books and thought, right, how can we make this more profitable? How can we, maximise our profits? And you may be thinking, well, that's good business practice. What's wrong with that? And normally I'd say you're absolutely right. But what often happens with breweries when they're bought out and people go in there and basically streamline things and make it more cost efficient, is almost always the beer which suffers. Because as I said, they're not worried about the quality of the products. They're worried about profit margin. And so they'll cut corners, they'll use cheaper ingredients, and you can't do that with beer. You simply can't. You start using cheap stuff and then the quality plummets. It just simply does. I mean, a good example of that would be Doom Bar. Cornish Beer. I remember about 12, 13 years ago being down in Cornwall, down in Porthleven, drinking Doom Bar, thinking, what a really lovely beer this is. And about 10 years ago, it was bought out by Coors, the American lager giant, and they mass produced it, stopped using Cornish ingredients, and now it's utterly revolting. It's just brown, tasteless water. It's revolting stuff. Another example is Beavertown. They've recently been not quite bought out, but a large chunk of the brewery has been bought by Heineken. And Heineken are very similar to AB InBev. They're not as big as AB InBev, but they're a very similar sort of beast. And I remember trying their beer Gamma Ray a few years ago before Heineken got involved. I thought it was a really nice beer. I tried it about 6 months ago and I thought this is just bland and tasteless. And so that's how it happens, unfortunately. When big business gets involved, it generally doesn't end well. And yeah, so Goose Island, owned by AB InBev. However, Goose Island can do good beer. They do a beer every year, their Bourbon County Imperial Stout, barrel-aged stout. They do a different variant of it every year. And I haven't tried every one they've done, but I've tried a few over the years and generally have been very, very good. So they can make good beer when they want to, or more than likely when they're allowed to. So the talent's there. So I'm hoping, even though this is an AB InBev beer, this is going to be okay. However, there is another thing that worries me about this beer before I've even tried it. It's the percent. It's 4.5% ABV. I mean, that is desperately weak. I mean, most stouts you know, even traditional cask stouts, they start around about 5%. And something that's 4.5%, you know, I can imagine the body on this is going to be thin and watery. And because it's a beer that's supposed to be packed full of flavour and supposed to emulate a cream egg, so it's supposed to be chocolatey and vanilla-y, a beer of that ABV, can it really hold those flavours? I don't know. I don't know. But there's only one way to find out, isn't there? Let's get this open and let's see what happens. Right, here we go. The Golden Goo-Beer-Lee beer. Okay. Right. Okay, well, it's certainly pouring the right colour. It definitely looks like a stout. Okay. It's pouring with a little bit of carbonation. Got about a sort of quarter of a finger head going on there. Yeah, the colour's right. That's a nice sort of dark colour, which you would associate with a stout. Nothing wrong there at all. Yeah, okay. Let's go in with the nose. Not getting a great deal on the nose. I can smell, I'm getting the aroma of sort of roasted malts, definitely. Yeah, that's about it really. I'm not getting any chocolate from that. I'm not getting vanilla. It just smells like a fairly bog standard stout, really. Well, let's go in with the taste. Cheers. Yeah, there's not an awful lot going on in there. Yeah, as I expected. It's desperately thin. I was getting a faint sort of trait of vanilla in there, I suppose. You're getting a little bit of chocolate, but it's very, very faint. It's very, very weak. The flavours really quickly disperse, and you're just left with the bitterness and the aftertaste. And not particularly great bitterness either, really, truth be told. Yeah, it's there. It is there. The flavours are there. They are. But they're not prominent at all, which is kind of what I expected. And it is weak. Thin. Yeah, as I expected, it's not great. I mean, it's fine. It's okay. It's not worthy of the hype. Nowhere near worthy of the hype that it's had around it. And you know, they could have made something so much better than that. Had they made the ABV like 7 or 8%, made it sort of, you know, verging on the impy sort of level of a stout, they could have really gone more with the flavours. But it tastes just like mass produced rubbish, really. It's not good. Here it is, folks. The Golden Goo-Beer-Lee. The beer which everyone's been going bonkers about. The beer that everyone wants to try. Well, if you haven't tried this, take it from me, you're missing out on absolutely nothing. It's rubbish. Would I drink it again? Well, I won't be able to drink it again because the second can I sold and you can't get it for love or money. What would I give Goose Island and Cadburys? It's the Golden Goo-Beer-Lee beer. 4 out of 10. It's a 4 out of 10 beer. Folks, there is so much better stuff out there. I'd say almost every local brewery to me makes better stout than that. It really isn't worthy of the hype. And if you haven't got your hands on one, then you really have missed out on absolutely nothing. Anyway, thanks for listening. All the best. Cheers. Goodbye.